What's going on, guys? It's Hayden, and I'm bringing you the first round of the ISL VGC World Cup 2 tournament. Um, I'm a little bit behind. I got very busy with work. Uh, my busiest times for work are middle of winter and middle of summer, but I think I should have a pretty easy week coming up to where I can get the rest of these videos out. We're actually not that far behind, but we are a couple weeks behind. So over this week, you will see the first round of the VGC tournament on Sunday, then the quarterfinals on Wednesday, then the semifinals on Saturday, and then next Tuesday we will release the championship video. I'm also not sure if I want to release the semifinals and the championship video in one sitting or not, or if I want to do something bigger for the championship. So I guess you will find out on Saturday. But in this video, I do have 4 battles for you that are all very good. So let's go ahead and jump into the first one. And with that being the 5 seed Paris Eternal taking on the 12 seed Toronto Tyrantrums. Both of these teams have played well, obviously, in the group stage. The Toronto Tyrantrums are actually our second replacement team after 2 coaches dropped out in the last couple weeks of the tournament. And then Paris Eternal, honestly, has probably one of the best rosters. And they are a very good coach in this tournament, and that's why they got the 5 seed, obviously. But let's go ahead and jump into this battle to see who came out on top. And just for reference, we're only recording the deciding game of the best of 3 to keep this video under hopefully 20 minutes. And then we will do a recap of the best of 3 as a whole. So let's go ahead and get into that battle. And as you saw, the Paris Eternal were able to take out the Toronto Tyrantrums with a 2-0 victory in the best of 3. Hariyama, probably had a better game in the first one, but as I said, we were only going to do the deciding factors. Hariyama finished 3-1. Arcanine also picked up 2 knockouts in the second game, with Ursaring picking up 2 knockouts in the first. And then Milotic was just able to stay there and basically be that defensive wall that it's meant to be. And Alolan Persian was just there. And sometimes that's just what you got to be on a winning team, is just be there. And for the Toronto Tyrantrums, not a way to go out of the tournament. But I do want to thank Josh for stepping up after we needed a 12th team to be in the knockout stage. but the Paris Eternal do make it into the quarterfinals, and you will see their next battle coming up on Wednesday. And next up, we have the 6th seed Fiend City Frokies taking on the 11th seed American Ampharos. The Frokies strategy, I see one or two teams do when I do get to watch VGC tournaments, and usually it's Sporemon, but in this it is Sleep Powder Venusaur, 75% accurate move, so it's a bit risky to have that be, I guess, the main thing you build your team around, but if it works, it works, and it worked for them as they are the 6th seed heading into the knockout stage. And as I mentioned, they are taking on the American Ampharos, our 11th seed. They have a very strong offensive core with Dragonite, Greninja, and Chandelure. Their main defensive and support mon is Fragoriff, with Raichu there for Nuzzle and Fake Out. Fun stuff. So let's go ahead and see how this battle turned out. And as you can see, the Sleep Powder strat worked this time, with the Frokies taking home the 2-0 victory over the Ampharos. As you can see in the first game, it actually worked even better, with Venusaur and Kingambit able to take out every mon on the opposing team before they could get knocked out themselves. So the Frokies do take home that 2-0 plus 7 victory to advance into the quarterfinals. Kingambit, 5 knockouts. Venusaur got 2 knockouts, but got, I believe, 6 assists if you count Sleep Powder and previous damage to that mon. This was basically the Sleep Powder Spore strat used to perfection, as unfortunately for on the Ampharos side, there wasn't really anything to do once those Sleep Powders started hitting. So an unfortunate way to go out of the tournament, but we do thank them for participating, and hopefully they will come back for future tournaments. And congrats to the Frokies for moving on to our quarterfinals. So let's move on to our third battle. And this is actually my favorite battle of the first round, between the Minnesota Timberwolfies, with Malamar as the anchor for their team, going 15-0 over the last 2 weeks in the group stage to get the Timberwolfies the 7th seed, taking on the Anastar Firebirds, who have a good Rancor with Pelipper as the setter and Basculegion as the heavy hitter. They also have Female and Didi and Ursaluna as the backup hitters, with Overquill and Phalanx in the back. So let's go ahead and see how this battle went. And as you can see, the Timberwolfies continue to put on a show with Malamar picking up the 2-1 victory in the best of 3. Malamar itself going 7-0, so it is currently on a 22-0 just blazing path of destruction heading into the quarterfinals. It couldn't have done it without Illumise and Poltergeist helping it out, and it is kind of shocking that Ursaluna Blood Moon is on this team, and it is completely overshadowed with Malamar. Do want to shout out the Firebirds for picking up the second game win. Easily the hardest fought battle of the first round. The only one to actually go all 3 games. And just a great showing for both of these coaches. But let's go ahead and move on to the final battle. And that is the Kalamazoo Camels, our only dual-coached team in this tournament, coached by Cam and Mel, taking on the Dallas Victory Stars, coached by Xavier. There's not enough time for me to actually hype up this battle. This is very good. Basically, these two teams face every single time in our main seasons. It's just normally not Cam and Mel. So this is 3 of our best coaches in one battle, and I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys the battle and then come back for the recap. And with that, the Kalamazoo Camels do pick up the 2-0 plus 4 differential win to go into the quarterfinals. The Victory Stars were just literally one turn away from pushing it to a third game. But Fletchender was able to clutch it up when it needed to. And Cam and Mel of the Camels do move into the quarterfinals on the back of Ursaluna going 5-1. Fletchender being able to clutch it up against Annihilate in the second battle. And not much other to say, except for let's go ahead and go look at the quarterfinal matchups. And I forgot to put the matchups on screen, but the 4 games the 4 battles are my Chicago Cubs versus the 7 seed Minnesota Timberwolfies, the Snorlakin versus the 8 seed Kalamazoo Camels, the Royal Regieleki versus the 6 seed Phoenix City Frokies, and the Houston Toros taking on the 5 seed Paris Eternal. Should be 4 great battles as we come down to the wire. Like I said earlier, you will see the quarterfinals on Wednesday, unless something crazy happens with my work. And then you will see the semifinals and possibly the championship on Saturday, but I'm still leaning towards making the championship its own video for next Tuesday. And I just thank everyone for watching this and watching along. And as always, thanks for watching.